Well, good old Tom Hardy doesn't give up, does he? Let's take a couple minutes to talk about what he recently said about his potential return as Venom, clarifying his previous statements and definitely opening up the door a little bit more. Well, honestly, there's no doubt that Venom is one of the most popular characters to come from Marvel Comics in the last 30 years. Most of Marvel's classic mainstream characters go back, well, to the 1960s, but Venom has found a pretty special place in the heart of fans. Now, back when Venom was released by Sony Pictures, if you remember correctly, Tom Holland was already playing Spider-Man within the MCU, and this immediately led to lots of rumors and rumblings about a potential for a crossover between the two characters. Then in Let There Be Carnage's post-credit scene, Eddie Brock got transported into the MCU, and that absolutely seemed imminent. Now, despite all this stuff, there was absolutely no sign of Venom during No Way Home. And in the post-credit scene, they actually sent the anti-hero home, leaving fans, well, more than a little disappointed, although he did leave a piece of the symbiote behind. Now, Venom The Last Dance quickly moved on from the multiverse and all those Spider-Man teases, and for me, I found that pretty frustrating because it was pretty clear that this was going to be one of the last outings for Tom Hardy, and this was never going to happen. Now, since then, Tom Hardy has shared a whole series of conflicting comments about this, particularly focused on scrapped plans for a Venom and Spider-Man crossover on screen. Now, over this past weekend, the team at The Hollywood Reporter actually spoke to the actor about pointing to studio politics ultimately killing the crossover. Now, his answer was pretty lengthy, and honestly, guys, he danced like a professional ballroom dancer. He said, "I didn't say that at all." That's kind of moved on from a very simple quote that I said specifically about my children watching Venom. It's hard to explain to a young child why their favorite superhero can't be in a film together, and that's such a shame. And we almost got together because I remember being in the Spider-Man movie, and it was connected, and it just didn't happen. The trilogy is now over, and it didn't happen. So it didn't get killed by anything, it just didn't happen. I've been misquoted here. People get excited about anything Venom or anything to do with superheroes and stuff, and it's sort of taken on another life. I just want to be clear that I didn't say that. There are always talks, but that doesn't mean that things manifested. There's a future where these things will continue to be talked about until something is realized, and I'm sure it will be at some point, but it just didn't happen with me. Now, to me, it's super baffling why this crossover never happened, because it definitely would have boosted interest in the Venom films, and it very well might have been Marvel Studios that kind of pushed back on it. As many of you know, Kevin Feige does not like to play with other people's toys in his sandbox, and recent developments with those Netflix characters or X-Men is something very new. There's also a rather contentious relationship between Sony and Marvel, and let's be honest, a lot of Sony's solo films have been really, really bad, and I'm absolutely sure Kevin Feige does not want to inherit any of their problems and integrate those into the MCU. Now, he did say this could happen in the future, and that's definitely possible, but I did notice he made it pretty clear it might not be with him, and that might be the big tell. As many of you have heard, after Secret Wars, there's a ton of rumors many of these Spider-Man characters could be integrated back into the MCU. And like some of those older actors playing X-Men, well, I think there's a strong possibility. Should Venom or Carnage or Kraven or even Madam Web show up within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, those characters would definitely face a recasting, which would allow Kevin Feige to give us what he wants and not necessarily what Sony developed. Now, obviously we're covering Venom pretty closely. I know a lot of you are super interested in this character crossing over with Spider-Man, and I do agree with him. It is a pretty big shame. These studio rights are often complex, and Tom Hardy's not wrong when he points out how confusing it is for children and adults alike. But until we know more, what do you guys think? Do you believe Marvel Studios will ever give Venom a chance to team up with Spider-Man within the Marvel Universe? Or do you think we're going to have to wait for those Spider-Man rights to go back to Sony, and at that point, it will be inevitable? Tell me what you think in the comments below. Now, before you take off though, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. We do daily videos and we want to be your place for all the Marvel and DC news, but we're going to bring it to you truthfully and transparently so you're really in the know.